Welcome to my channel, Gadgets for Gentlemen. This is gonna be a very short video, and I realize I do say that many times and not always are my videos very short, so let me try and keep it very short. This is gonna be a little farewell video of my Vostok Amphibia. I have it here ready to be sent out to a new owner. Again, this is the original box. This is just a very cheap plastic thing with the brand name Vostok. I added some foil for protection, and I'll make sure to wrap it up very secure. So I think I did a ton of videos on this watch on my channel, and if you're considering to buy this watch, I can highly recommend this watch. Yeah, I'm letting this watch go. So obviously I think this watch has a few very practical shortcomings, and I own a ton of I would say entry-level watches. Most of my watches are dive watches. Recently, for example, I bought this beautiful dive watch by Precista. So I think it's only fair that if you buy new watches, if your collection expands, you got to be critical with the watches that you currently own and decide whether to keep it or decide to let it go. So just a very short overview of this watch and the reasons why I this time really let it go. I did a video on the reasons why I was selling the Vostok before, and then actually I kept it because there's just something about this watch. It just I think it's so romantic. I think it's so unique. So yeah, definitely this is going to be a very two-faced video, because on the one hand, I truly like this watch and what it represents. On the other hand, I got to be realistic, and I own several watches that in day-to-day activities I think offer more value, at least in my personal opinion. And I'm definitely not hating on the Vostok Amphibia, because I've had wonderful experiences with this watch. As you can see, not on this metal bracelet, because this bracelet is still on the plastic. I decided not to use it because I think the metal bracelet is constructed quite poorly. So we have hollow end links. These links I think are even hollow, and they really grab the hair on my skin. I owned bracelets such as these from Vostok before, so yeah, I really dislike this this metal bracelet, and it's very tinny. And good thing though is that beautiful Vostok logo here. It is a B, but I learned that the B should be pronounced as a V, so that brings you to Vostok. It has a few micro adjusts, so that's a good thing. And doing this, opening this almost breaks your nails, and I'll go press metal. So yeah, let's not talk about the bracelet. I think the bracelet is quite poor. Now let's go over the dimensions. This is a very compact watch with a diameter, excluding the crown, of about 38 millimeters. With my small 6.3 inches wrists, I do think that that fits very nice. I must say that the thickness of this watch is quite severe. Let me point that out. I think it has to do with the thick case and a thick domed crystal. So if I measured this up correctly, this is a thickness of 15 millimeters. And I do think that is very thick. And on the one hand, it adds to the charm with this domed acrylic crystal. It has, I think, a very nice effect. But I prefer my crystals to be flat and sapphire. Just like this little fella. Which also makes it much easier to wear under your dress shirt. And overall, I like a thinner profile over a thicker profile any time of the day. So yeah, that was my second negative point about this watch. This is not the original bezel. Bezel is this rotating ring that you can use for diving. So this is also not the original bezel. This is also an aftermarket bezel. I think I purchased it on eBay. Really like this color combination, how it plays with the blue sunburst dial. Let me show you the actual bezel. As you can see here, this is the original bezel. I really couldn't stand the look of this bezel. As you can see, to apply the bezel, you can use this spring. And it's quite difficult, actually, at least I found it quite difficult to have this bezel fit on the case. So when you are replacing bezels, make sure not to damage that little spring. So yeah, with this watch you can buy aftermarket bezels, and I think that is a great tip to change the overall look of this watch. I really like this combination of blue and black. This watch, it operates on an in-house Russian movement, which I think at this price point is very unprecedented. Is that a word? Well, I know the Seiko SNK 809 also has an in-house movement, so similar price point perhaps. So this watch allows for hand winding. So when you're not wearing the watch, you can charge the movement by just spinning this crown. That's how you charge the watch. And as you can see, the watch does not hack. So when I pull the outer crown completely, the second hand will just keep running. So this watch does not allow for very precise time setting, unfortunately. And also, so that is clearly for me a negative thing. At least the hand winding is a positive thing, but the lack of hacking is a negative thing. And also what I found quite difficult is to change the date. So with most watches, you can easily change the date using the first position usually of the crown to quick set the date. With this watch, it doesn't allow for quick setting the date. So here we can see at midnight the date changed quite fast. But let's say it's like the 26th or something, and if I want to quickly change the date, it doesn't work like that. So I wouldn't wear this watch for a week or so. I would throw it on the wrist, and then it would take me like 5 minutes or so to set the date correctly, because if my watch has a date window, I like the date to be, spot on. So for me, that was clearly a negative experience with this watch. So if you want to change the date, you can go all the way. So that's 24 hours forward. And this way, around midnight, you can see that the date will jump to the 11th, just so. And there's a little trick. You can go to about 3 a.m., go back to like 8 p.m., so, and then proceed to midnight. And this will slightly make the date changing faster than going around like for 24 hours. But still, this takes time. Like, imagine this example of going like to the 26th. Like, you can see this takes quite some time. And especially if you're making YouTube videos, it's going to be a bloody long video. So yeah, I stopped doing so. Anyways, let's keep it like this. That's beautiful. The crown is it is screw down, so allows for great water protection. I think the watch is 200 meters water resist. It was designed for the Soviet Navy, so yeah, truly military spec watch. It was competing with Rolex Submariner and Omega watches, so definitely a truly unique watch that can be had for very little money. But for me, at least in day-to-day activities, it had a few shortcomings, namely the poor bracelet, the bezel. I didn't like the original, and even with this aftermarket bezel, as you can see, the bezel does not allow for clicks. So this way you can't really count or really feel precisely, you know, when it's in the groove. And the bezel, it rotates in two directions. So in theory, when you knock against the bezel, you can actually mess up the time. And I like my bezels to work with clicks, such as with this watch. When you rotate, you can feel this very sturdy feedback. And with this bezel, you can't reverse, you can't go back. So you can only rotate in one direction, which I think is better. Anyway, so we had the bracelet, we had the bezel. I'm not too fond of the dome acrylic. I think if it was a domed sapphire or a flat sapphire, I think the watch, you know, I think they should do an update with like modern specs. And if they include like a sapphire crystal, man, it will be a deal breaker. I mean, it would be a completely different proposition. I think also the movement, if it allowed for quickset to quickly change the date, you know, that'd be truly amazing. And while they're at the movement, I think hacking would be beautiful. So when you unscrew the crown, if you bring the crown to the neutral position, I think that second hand should stop. That would be amazing. Anyways, I think that's it, folks. It's a beautiful watch, really beautiful dial with this. I really like the look of this sunburst blue applied indices. Beautiful Scuba Dude here at the 12 o'clock with that logo, very retro colors. And I think here at the 6 we can read some Russian inscriptions. And also at the case back, I think that the term is called Cyrillic, this Russian script. So how many of your case backs have Russian engraving? I mean, I think it's just wonderful. So yeah, I got too many watches, so I'm letting this watch go. Really enjoyed my time with the Vostok Amphibia. Let me briefly show you what it looks like on the wrist. As you can see with my 6.3 inches, I think this watch wears like perfect. Short lock to lug, as you can see. It simply wears perfect. Although for me a bit too tall, you know. I think that case could maybe be a little bit thinner, especially that the crystal could be a little bit thinner if it was like a flat sapphire crystal, for example. So I'm going to wrap up this video and I'm going to prepare this box. You know, I think with the Vostok Amphibia, you can't go wrong. If you find them, for a good deal, for a good price, yeah, you should buy it. I mean, it's a fun watch, and what can I say? I think it's a truly beautiful. It has historical relevance. It's a beautiful watch, and not too many people wear this watch, so it's truly something unique. Throw this on a NATO strap or a rubber strap. Even got like a beautiful mesh bracelet, and wear it with pride. I think it's a gorgeous watch. Yeah, I'm happy to let it go because, I wasn't wearing this watch very often anymore because of the hassle with the date wheel. And I thought it was a bit too thick and a bit too shiny, maybe even. Anyways, I'm very happy to sell this watch. I'm very thankful for having had the chance to wear this watch. I think it's beautiful. I think it's still in an impeccable condition. And I wish the new owner has a whole lot of fun wearing this watch. So if you find this video interesting, then I advise you to also look into the archives. I have more videos on the Vostok Amphibia, so definitely check those out. If you have any questions, then please leave them down below, and I'll make sure to get back to you. And if you like my video, then please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, check out my Instagram page as well as my website, and I wish you have a wonderful day. See you soon.